Hello guys, welcome back. In my previous session, I have covered on how aPriori works and on costing mode. So in this section, I will talk about aPriori desktop basics and how to save multiple scenarios. So let's start. So on the aPriori desktop basics. So let's see how start with opening a new CAD file and scenario name. So this is how when you open a aPriori tool it looks like. So first thing is from file menu, open CAD file, and then the CAD file. So I'm showing a standalone mode where it's not integrated to CAD tool. So CAD file is saved locally on my computer. So uh, CAD file, we have to open a CAD file from the local computer which is saved. So here it is a step file, and the file name it will take from the file name which is going to the CAD file, and then a scenario name. On the scenario name, this is also important because to generate multiple cost scenarios for the same CAD file using different materials or different machining process. So this scenario name we can change accordingly. Say for example, if I'm using material say steel 1020, I can give some name related to that, or we can give scenario name based on our project. So this is for the identification of the file is important. And then so on this I will go walk you through the basic the interfaces which are the windows which are available onto the aPriori window. So here first is cost guide, okay, where it has three tabs. We say production scenario, GCD tolerances, and process and machine options. So under production scenario, we need to give these informations. Okay, so I will cover this later in the next part. So this is where we give the inputs about the part, and then here it's a graphical or visual representation of the CAD model. So we can rotate it, see it how exactly part looks like. Okay, so it's graphics window. um, in this tab, like cost summary, report, display tab, so here we have total of 6 tabs here. So in this window we get part summary, design to cost summary, part details, and investment. So I'll be covering more detail in the later part about this. Okay, so also on the manufacturing process window, so how exactly when after running a cost model, so for this particular part, okay, what are the different operations that it has performed. It will show like castings and casting, okay, and what are the different operations has been performed, that will be listed here. Its machines are also listed, so we can get a view about it. And if we need to add new operation to it or have some modification, we can do it from here. And then here geometric cost drivers, it means it whatever the information like geometric informations like volume, number of holes, their diameters, its size, basically number of surfaces, it will get extracted, and this information is available here. Okay, so basically this and we have a navigation pane that can be opened through the tool, and by default it is not visible, but we can open it from the tools menu and open the navigation pane. So navigation pane, means it will show that number of scenarios which are available for this particular part. Okay, we can have multiple scenarios based as if we want to change its material, like for this material I will produce one cost. If I want for the same part with different material, then I will save it with another scenario name. So that information we can get it from here. And then a message pane is also available, like if they how the aPriori has been with costed and other informations will be displayed here. If there is any error and if you want to check what exactly we get an error, that will be displayed here in the message pane, and that is also can be from the view menu we can display it, or we can simply click on this icon here. Okay, and here so we have this message pin here. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so we display this message pin from, we can click here and that will be displayed here. Okay, and then this is setting a target cost. If you want like for this particular part, this has to be, for example, say rupees 100, and we can set that target cost, and after running that cost here, that will show a percentage deviation, whether like how much whether it is inside the target or it has crossed the target cost. So that will displayed here as a graphical representation. Then we have a CAD connection option here. So if we want to connect to a CAD tool, when we click on this or when this option is available, then we can whether we want to work on independently or whether we want to work in an integrated mode. So this option we can click it here. Basically from aPriori for Creo tool, this window is from Creo tool. On the tools menu, this we can, from here also we can have an option to start aPriori or to have integration, or not to connect to aPriori. So we can connect to aPriori from here as well. And from tools menu, we can set like every time when CAD application is open, whether we want to start aPriori along with it or not, we can set this option from here. We can click it here. Okay, so for every part there will be one official scenario. Okay, usually when we run for the first time for the part one part for the part, it will take it as an official scenario. Suppose if we generate a new scenario using by changing the inputs, and if you want to set that an official scenario, we can set it from the file or scenario the file menu here. Okay, so basically this, whenever there is an icon here, so it means it is an official scenario. So locking and unlocking scenarios. So if you want to lock scenarios, it means now currently it is unlocked. Okay, so as a component design, it's we may want to capture the cost at particular stage and keep it without changing for future reference. So if we don't want to change it, like for example, if accidentally if we don't want to change it, so we can keep it locked so that nobody can change any values. So if we want to change it some information, then we can unlock it and yeah, give new inputs and cost it once again. So we generally do it from lock scenario, and here we can save it, we can lock the scenario from here. And then here in this option we see whether the whether the current scenario is active or not. So update GCDs from CAD models. okay, or inactive will not extract GCDs. So using this option we have additional control. So when it's CAD connected, so whether we want to um, update its GCDs or the geometric cost drivers from the CAD tool. If we don't want to change from the CAD file, then we can set it as inactive. Okay. So we can change it from here, from scenario, make active or inactive scenario. And here it indicates whether the file is connected to the CAD file or not. So if it is a red cross here, then it's not connected. If it's not there, then it is connected to a CAD file. So if it is not connected and if you want to connect it to the CAD file, we can use CAD file association. Then we can refresh GCDs if there is any update in the CAD file, maybe size is changed or maybe there are some new holes here, and if it's not updated, then we can refresh the GCDs. Here it indicates the latest change, okay, when who has changed what or which person has changed its date and when it is changed, so that information will be highlighted on this tool. So default scenario name, we can set a default scenario name from tools user preferences and default scenario name here, and set it as whatever default scenario. By default it will be a initial, but if there are like many users who are working on to the same we say same database or schema we say here, so if everybody have their default scenario name as initial, then there may be a chance that the costs may get override. So it's always better to set a default scenario name or unique name for a unique user. So I am showing it here. So whenever I open a CAD file, so here I will see by default it will take a scenario name as this one. So still I will be having an option to change it, but we can generally we can set a unique name for each user. So I have covered a basic desktop basics. So saving multiple scenarios, I will cover it here. Saving multiple scenarios, it means like for example for this particular part, if I giving certain inputs and I have generated cost, and if I want to change some material and and or otherwise there is some other change like a volume change, factory or any factory data change, so we can generate a new scenario, or we can save this one scenario. We want this scenario as well and generate a new scenario, so we can save a new scenario as well. So we can do it by using a save as scenario, and then a new scenario will be saved with a new name. So there will be actually a pop-up where we can enter a new scenario name, and then a new scenario will be generated, and we can put the other information or changed which is the changed information, and get the cost details or cost information here. So for the search of scenarios we can use this icon here. Okay, and there are various options, like we can either we can search it from name or part number or identification number or scenario name, or from the time selection. Okay, from last 30 days or last 180 days, or from particular date to uh, the current date. So we have various options to search the scenarios from the database. We can get and if we keep all the empty and simply say find, so we'll get all the scenario name, all the scenarios which are saved into the database. So yes, in today's session, in this session I have covered desktop basic and saving multiple scenarios. So in the next section, I will cover on cost guide menu. Okay. So meet you in the next video. So I'll be providing all the links or all the video sessions link in the description below. Till then, bye bye.